or anything on the exercise that you're doing, like the one yesterday you did, because some of the exercise you did yesterday and today are more related to streaming data and real-time data, uh, compared to the one that initially we the ingestion batch process. Of course, you didn't get chance to do that exercise, but that's more of like a batch process using the Hive. But the more real time is more and more popular now, because a lot of big data solutions are not only the volume, it's also about the more real time data processing. So the one that we are working right now are more useful and more important, relatively. So just want to make sure everyone is aware the differences and what we are doing right now for how we are doing. Okay, again, we are only doing some of the way that what can be done, but there is no hard and fast rule. The solution could be, you can design any way you want, depends on the needs. But sometimes we are using Amazon DynamoDB, but whereas you could use S3 bucket there. Okay, so yeah, if no questions, maybe then I'll get started, because today we have to do at least two exercises, two labs separately, two different labs, and both are relevant and important in terms of more of IoT analytics as well. Okay, so let me get started on that. Okay, so today's focus is Amazon Kinesis Firehose. Okay, so we learned yesterday also, we learned something about Amazon Kinesis. Amazon Kinesis, what is that we learned yesterday? What component is that? Anyone remember? Kinesis streams, Amazon Kinesis streams, right? That's basically the both Amazon Kinesis streams and Kinesis Firehose together are Amazon Kinesis products. So Amazon Kinesis has two parts. One is Kinesis streams, and one is Kinesis Firehose. Okay, so you will see today what the difference between these two, and what is used for what purpose. Most probably in a lot of projects these two will be used together. Okay, so today you will see some of these an extension to the Kinesis, Amazon Kinesis. Amazon Kinesis has multiple things. Amazon Kinesis has client library, Firehose, streams, various components. You need to be aware of each one and what it is doing for each, each purpose. You should be aware. Okay, just diving into Amazon Kinesis Firehose, right? So what this is basically, it's a managed service. Amazon has a lot of things are like managed services, and this is for delivering real-time streaming data to the destinations like SS3, Amazon S3 or Redshift or Elasticsearch or Microsoft, I mean Amazon DynamoDB, or it could be any destination. Yesterday also we kind of touched the similar thing, right? Yesterday also we mentioned Amazon Kinesis Stream is something doing very similar, but there is a difference in, if you notice the difference, Firehose is part of the Amazon Kinesis streaming data platform. Okay, streaming data platform has multiple components. So it has actually Amazon Kinesis streams, Amazon Kinesis Firehose, Amazon Kinesis analytics. So there are multiple components as part of the streaming data platform. Okay, each one has different purpose. So the one we learned yesterday, Amazon Kinesis stream, is to consume or the real-time streaming data producer will be producing the data, and it is going to store in memory all that real-time data and hold it and expose it to the um, consumer. The producer will be producing the streaming data, and the Kansas streams will be holding that all the data, holding all the data in memory and giving it to consumer. But the consumer in this case, it could be, I mean, yesterday also we showed, like, it could be any consumer. But what is the difference? Why in between you need fire hose again, right? That is what the difference. Without fire hose, I mean, you could actually hold the data, and you could store that in memory, and but then you are not really processing it. You need something for processing it, right? So Firehose is the processing engine. Basically, as part of the streaming data, you collect the data, you store it in the in memory, but you need to process it sometimes, because most of the time you need to have processing engine as well, right? So you need to process and then put it into destination. You can directly put it into destination, but that's not the only requirement always. There are a lot of requirements where you wanted to process the data and then put it into the final destination. Okay, why this is required? Because in the regular data browsing world, you collect the data and you transform the data, and then you load it into the final tables, which is for the final to do your analytics and all that. But now in case of Hadoop platform, or Amazon EMR, or any of these new data lake systems, what we said is it will extract and load it into some location, like HDFS location or S3 buckets or somewhere. Then you'll do transformation. uh, that is for the batch data loads requirements. Okay, so ELT or ETL approach that I mentioned earlier is more like a from the data browsing point of view. But now a lot of requirements coming now on real-time data analytics requirements. Whatever the process, regular process will help for the you extract the data and load the data into some HDFS location or S3 buckets. Then you transform that. That works generally um, for the data storage point of view. And once you load it, you can analyze, you can discover and visualize do any analytics on that loaded data, on the raw data, or you can transform the data and create your own analytics at the end of the transformed data. There are two ways you can do. But what is the importance of this in between Firehose processing again? Because you have needs to do processing of real-time data and do the analytics on real-time data itself before even it actually you store the data into S3 or Hadoop location. Because there are a lot of times you have some real-time requirements. There are some regular analytics requirements which can happen in the batch load, and it can wait for the data for till next cycle, like next day or so. Right? But some requirements doesn't wait for that. So when you have a requirement like real-time data analytics requirements, so you need all these things in between. So before even you load your data into your final S3 or any of the regular storage areas, in between itself you have to process it quickly. When I say processing, it's not like you are doing massive transformations or anything, but you need to do certain small transformations or processing requirements and use it for analytics on the real-time data itself. Mostly it's all in memory. Okay, that is where Amazon Kinesis Streams, Amazon Kinesis Firehose, Amazon Kinesis Analytics, these three will come into picture. Okay, so we learned about how Amazon Kinesis Streams uh, consuming the data, I mean taking the data and storing it into in-memory Spark clusters. But now from there, it should be able to process it. So to process it, we are using Firehose. Okay, it is just part of the streaming data platform. So with Firehose, you do not need to write applications or manage resources. That's the advantage. It's like a ready-made tool given in the streaming data platform. You don't need to write big applications or need to manage any resources or anything. So it's a ready-made tool. So you just configure your data producers to send the data to Firehose, and it automatically delivers the data to the destination you specify. So this will help you to make it easier with simple configuration, and it can transform your data before it delivers. That's the advantage of it. Basically, the transformation of data before it delivered to the destination. Again, when I say transformation, generally you don't do like a lot of big transformations like you do for in the data warehousing type of transformations. This is mostly to transform the data that is required for like small data sets like master data or reference data sets. Okay, you don't really transform too much here because it doesn't make sense to transform so much data in the real time and show the analytics. But you do need some small transformations that will happen here, which is generally enough for real-time data transformations. And there is a component called Firehose delivery stream. This is the underlying component entity for the Firehose. Okay. So yeah, by creating this, we basically whenever you create a Firehose, you create a delivery stream for that. That's what will send. Then you send the data to it. The data producer we already learned yesterday. It's the same thing. Producer send records to Firehose delivery streams. So only difference is yesterday when we looked at Kinesis streams, data producer is sending the records to streams, right? In this case, we are saying it is sending to Firehose delivery streams. That means again, remember the architecture could be in any different way, right? It could be a producer sending the data records to Kinesis streams directly and then directly putting into destination when there is no need to transform or do any analytics in between. But there is also a scenario when you need to produce the data and in between you have to do something and do some real-time analytics. And in addition to that, you also need to store the data into your final destination. So then you need combination of all these components. Okay. So make sure you understand the difference here. Okay. This is where I can show this picture will really very good explanation of in simple representation. Let's say you're getting the clickstream data. Okay. This is the one we looked at yesterday, streams, Kinesis streams, where you are storing data and exposing clickstream data for processing separately. This is not processing. It is just collecting and storing it as an in-memory area cluster, right? Then you could actually here, without Firehose, you could directly deliver it to S3, Amazon, electricity, all these things you could do. But why you do Firehose here? This will allow you to transform some additional things on the data what you have before it delivers to any of the destinations. Or sometimes there is another extension. I'll tell you. Even it will transform and also it will do analytics in between before it delivers to the destinations. There are various ways you can set it up. Depends on the requirements. Okay.
So Kishore here.
Yeah.
So in the Firehose, so we can mention like what kind of transformations it has to do. We can configure it, or it will automatically do something.
No, there is a configuration, but
Okay.
again, transformation. It's not like Informatica or other transformations. Like you will have some functions, right? You will have a few, but it's not really meant for full-fledged transformation here. But like suppose expressions in Informatica, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the from the source qualifier, right? You
Right.
do the basic transformation initially, right?
Right.
So very similar to that, you could do some small transformations, not like a heavy transformation really here, because the real-time data, you're trying to get the real-time data and do the analytics. But when you need to do some small transformations, this will allow this configuration. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So you will see that in today's exercise actually. So there will be a small example, I believe, and you can see that how it is transforming. But again, it's not like a, you don't need to write a lot of code or anything here. It's all it's like a tool configuration basically.
Okay.
Okay. And here if you see, there is one more channel here. Usually this is the very typical setup, right? So if you're not doing analytics here, what you're doing here, you are taking the clickstream data through the streams and let it go through the fire hose and do small transformations whatever required, and put it into S3 or Redshift or Amazon Elasticsearch, and then let the readers see personalized content suggestions. And this is one scenario, one example. But there is another channel here that takes the data, streams data through Kinesis client library, which is more for real-time content recommendations. So here in this case, it is not more meant for real-time processing. Once you put it into the S3, Redshift and all this, you're not really using it for real-time analysis. Okay, whenever you need to do real-time analysis, you take it directly from streams and you go through the Kinesis client library and use it for more real-time purposes. Okay, I mean either you can use Kinesis client library here to send it for like a application type of things, or you also have a product called Kinesis client analytics that could also happen here directly. Okay, so I think I have it in the next slide. Maybe let me show that as well. Yeah, it's not here, but yeah, so I think in the next one, let me come back. So let's go a little bit in detail here. So from this step, now this is the next level of detail, how actually it will do the transformation. So in this case, the data source is basically your clickstream, uh, either clickstream, or you can consider as your streaming, like your Kinesis stream, right? Irrespective of whatever is the data source here, sometimes you could actually directly take it, or you could take it from streams, Kinesis streams as a source, and then you create your Firehose delivery stream, which is underlying component for Firehose, right? And your source records get into that. This is where you do your transformation. Basically, your transformed records will go into S3 bucket, and if you don't want to do any transformation, still you can bypass all your source records as it is raw data into S3 buckets as well. It's not like always required to do transformation. In most cases, you don't do transformation, uh, but you may need real-time analytics on the raw data. That's why this comes into picture. Okay, because when you do real-time analytics, you may want to do at least some small things to be transformed. That's why you use the data set. Okay, and from S3, obviously at the end, finally, a lot of this data will be, again, another transformation could happen here. This is more like a batch process or whatever, the full-fledged transformation before it goes into data warehouse setup, Redshift in this case. Okay, so in case of Elasticsearch cluster, Elasticsearch also like another storage, but it's more for um, like a search analytics, like Google Analytics kind of thing. Okay, so in case of Amazon ES destinations, the streaming data is delivered to your Amazon ES cluster and optionally backed up to S3 bucket concurrently. So this is one another model basically within the architecture. This is a good example to see the how regular application. Like yesterday we did some experiment, right? So assume that you have some web application or something, like some Java or some .NET, whatever type of some application, right? It could be anything actually. No, uh, let's say some web application is there and somebody is clicking on that, right? Clickstream data, generally that's what we're talking. Somebody is keep clicking on the websites, and you're continuously trying to get the streaming, the click streams, right? So that is one example, but it could be any other example of source. But whenever that happens, the writes could happen to the Amazon DynamoDB. This is one way, one typical setup, right? Generally for applications. And the writes happens to, basically you're making transactions, right? So your transactions are going into NoSQL database here, Amazon DynamoDB. And also you have your Spark cluster here, Elastic Spark cluster, which is Apache Ignite cluster, they call it here, but it is basically your Elastic Spark cluster here, which is in memory. Okay, it comes through into this one as well. These are physical writes. These are in memory storage, and this in memory storage is used for in memory real time analytics directly. And in this case, you're using Apache Gplane, but you could use any analytics tool really here. Okay, but the other option here, when you're getting here, the Amazon DynamoDB, it is having a, yesterday we did this experiment, if you remember. Amazon DynamoDB is triggering, you enabled something called Amazon DynamoDB streams in yesterday exercise, right? So whenever there is a write happening into the database, you're triggering, basically Amazon DynamoDB streams are helping to trigger that, right? Using Lambda function, it can put it into a Kinesis Firehose. Okay, and then Kinesis Firehose can do that required transformation and put it into S3 bucket, and then go to Redshift as a final transformation records. And from there you could do analytics using the same BI tool. And the other option is from Amazon DynamoDB streams also could send the data to KCL, which is Kinesis Client Library app, that could also interact with Amazon, like the real-time in-memory data here already, and together it can help to real-time analytics. So if you see the path, the different paths to do the real-time analytics here, you could get the data directly from application to the Spark cluster and do the direct analytics here, or the application is whatever the writes happening to your Amazon DynamoDB, and the logs created in this one, like let's say it's a clickstream logs, right? Web logs or whatever. Just keep on writing here, and then Amazon DynamoDB streams let it trigger the Kinesis Client Library app to make them available for in memory, okay, like a cache. Then let the in memory real-time analytics happen on that. That is one approach. And the same Amazon DynamoDB streams can also trigger using Lambda. It can trigger to Amazon Kinesis Firehose for the transformation of data, and then put it into S3, and then further transformation can happen in between and go into Amazon Redshift as a data warehouse solution. And then from there you could do the standard analytics. This doesn't need to be real-time analytics. This is like an end-to-end solution using Amazon products, one particular architecture. Okay, is this clear or?
Yeah.
Clear, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me know in case. I mean, it's all very straightforward, but I just wanted to make sure you're getting processing in your minds. Whenever you're seeing this, try to visualize like what happening actually. So then it's easier to remember. Okay. This is a other scenario I was talking earlier. Assume that you have some IoT or some device, right, that is continuously streaming the data. It could be a sensor or any type of IoT device. or it could be just a clickstream, weblog analytics. Source application also. It could be any source, right? In this example, they're talking about IoT device producing data, and irrespective of the source, finally it comes to the Kinesis streams, and it collects and streams the data and sends it to here. It could actually send it to Kinesis Analytics directly. What that means, you are trying to do the real-time analytics directly here without using early in the earlier slide you see that you are using Apache Gplin, right? This is another analytics tool from Apache, but whereas here you are using Amazon product basically, nothing different. This is a Kinesis Analytics is already another real-time analytics product. When I say real-time analytics, this is not really like any special analytics tool. It is like a SQL basically, Spark SQL. Kinesis Analytics is using nothing but Spark SQL behind the scene. Okay, because it's all in-memory based analytics. Kinesis Analytics filters, aggregates, and enriches the data for real-time per user queries. And then again, it could go through. So this is where again there is no hard and fast rule whether you should put Kinesis Analytics here or you should put after the Firehose, after the transformation. Okay, it is totally up to you. In this case, actually, you don't even see Firehose. It is simply streaming, and directly Kinesis Analytics is coming, and then going to Kinesis Streams and going to DynamoDB and doing the final dashboards or whatever on that one. This is like a more of a real-time scenario. That's why you didn't even see any Firehose requirement here. But you could always put Firehose as well if there is a transformation need. Okay. So these are all examples. Okay, don't think that only this is the way you should do. In your real needs, you'll be able to interchange things as needed. But as long as you know what is used for what purpose and why they're used in this scenario. Okay, now this is an interesting topic and a very popular topic now. This is a very latest product managed service added in Amazon stack. Okay, on Amazon now we have a lot of AWS services, but now the very latest one is AWS IoT. This is also another managed service, which is actually a managed platform. Why it's called platform? It has a hardware as well, because IoT needs hardware configuration also, not only software. So it's a managed cloud platform that enables Internet of Things. Basically it's connected device, right? Any device, any connected device called Internet of Things. So which will help to interact easily and securely with cloud applications. Okay. So what this can do, it can support billions of devices and trillions of messages without having to manage any infrastructure. That's the advantage. If you have to build, if you have to have a platform to support trillions of messages, right, from the so many IoT devices coming into the world now, if you have to maintain your own infrastructure, it will be unmanageable. It will be very difficult to manage the infrastructure otherwise. So what Amazon did is they just basically extended their cloud infrastructure to support this AWS IoT also. So you will be able to connect and manage your devices directly. Like what it means, let's say you have a device, some hardware device, which is IoT, right? Uh, Take anything like some sensor or something that produce the data, right? Um, you guys know that Google Nest, right? Google Nest, or there are a lot of things like that. Um, I mean, I can give an example of an airplane. You will have a black box, something like a sensor that collects all that, recording all the data. And similarly, we used to have something from the ship. The ship also you'll have one. So in my previous project, we were getting the data from ship sensor, which is like IoT only. Okay, so it will continuously produce the data. So you don't know what type of format that has. They just produce the data, dump of so much data, and there's no specific format. Like you have to parsing the data will be like a total mess. It's a total unstructured. So for that reason, you need to collect that into some of these big data platforms. And but if you want to do that in the real time, like streaming model, then you need something like this Kinesis Streams or Kinesis platform. Okay, but the advantage of AWS IoT, it is not like anything separate. It's part of AWS platform. You just connect and configure your, just like when you do the ETL or something, we connect your source connection, right? So connect from Oracle database as my source and bring the data. Similarly, here it's not a Oracle database or something as a source, but it's like a physical device, a physical IoT device, which will be your source. It's not an application, it's not a database, it is a device itself. You have to configure. There will be some connection parameters for managing the devices, and you can secure the device connections and data and process and act upon the device data. Okay, and this is seamlessly integrated with AWS Lambda, Kinesis, S3, machine learning, DynamoDB, all the components, all the stack we have in Amazon platform. That's the beauty of it. So look at this. This will give you a very good idea of how physically it actually process, right? You don't see big difference than regular source and IoT, but if you go into the technical details, it is like a physical device which will have like some chip or something embedded into that device, that IoT device, which is going to be like your publisher. So because of that IoT, whatever the chip physically they put into that hardware, that helps to publish. Basically, that will give you like some address. When you connect to this, you have an Amazon IoT topic that basically you configure that with your IoT device, and so that it can start. Basically, you're subscribing it, right? Basically, publish and subscribe model, pub sub model. IoT topic, you're basically configuring to get the data. Whatever devices you configure, it could be 10 devices or 100 devices. All of that content will publish into this Amazon IoT topics, and then whoever subscribe to that topics, that messages, so they will be able to consume that. And subscribers could be another IoT device, or it could be another Amazon EC2 instance, or it could be a route, a rule, which is basically we could define IoT rules that will take actions based on the rules. Basically, it's like it will apply rules like saying, okay, for rule number 1, then do this. Rule number 2, do this, like that. So the actions can happen based on that. Okay, and those actions could be anything, right? Sending a short message, or it could be sending into queue, it could be sending directly writing data into DynamoDB, or triggering a Lambda function, or writing into Amazon S3, sending the data into Elasticsearch service, or Amazon Kinesis, or Firehose, CloudWatch, IoT, Republish, whatever it could be. So there are so many ways you could leverage that. Okay, so the purpose is like endless. Like once you are into the platform, you could do like amazing things really with using this technology. It's just a matter of finding a right use case and using it for right purpose. I mean, if you know exactly how to use. Okay, so that's pretty much, like, I will stop it there because I want to use more time, because we have 2 labs to complete today. Before we move on to Redshift and other data warehouse things, that's there are a lot of other important topics later on. But at least with this, we will be able to start our um, Firehose lab and IoT lab. IoT, the two labs that we have to complete today. Okay, so let's get to the. I think let me ping you at the. Yeah, there it is. These are the exercise we want to do today. So first one is that gives you introduction to the Kinesis Firehose, and the next one is it gives you introduction to the IoT. Okay, so both are like free actually. These two are, I think it's supposed to be free because those are introductions. Let me check myself. I think.
Yeah, free and cash over.
Both are free, right?
Yeah, both are free.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So as usual, go here to the catalog on the home page. Go to lab and search for this. First, search for the Kinesis Firehose. Yeah, that's free and it takes 30 minutes. The other one also should be similar very much. Yeah, yeah. Together, it should take not more than like 1 hour or something. So I think it should 1 hour 15 minutes. I think we should have enough time now. It's 9:18, right? So yeah, I think by 10:30, I think we should be able to close it. So this will be perfect fit for the time. So yeah, let's get started on that and let's see. Again, make sure that you read through the instructions carefully before you start the exercise. Okay, because I want you to understand the contents first, why you are doing. Without that, also good thing is when you go through this one, they will give you nice definitions about like each one. Like suppose what is Amazon Kinesis is a platform, right? And what is Amazon Kinesis Streams? Like these are quick definitions. Really, it will help you to understand. Even just like a quick recap, right? So because you learn through my slides and my explanation of what it is really, but before you do your work again, this is like quick recap. If you some these definitions might be having good wording than my explanation. So if you just read through that once, it will help. Delivery stream, records, data producers. Yeah, most of the stuff is very much we already went through. Also here they're talking about Amazon Redshift as well already because they are trying to use this as part of the exercise here. But again, there's nothing wrong. Okay, if you know something more before you learn more deep dive into that, that's better. Nothing wrong. So S3, EC2, CloudWatch, for everything they give a definition here. cloud formation is actually one important thing to learn. If you haven't learned about it, I think I told this before, but if I'm not, cloud formation is one thing that allows to create the templates. So you can create a template to whatever uh, server architecture you wanted to create. So I think here you'll do one as part of this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you won't learn much about cloud formation here, but that's more for like architects who build the infrastructure, who build the architecture. Suppose, all these labs when you're doing, think of it, right? How these labs environments are getting ready immediately as soon as you start lab, right? If you need to create your own infrastructure, you need to know how to architect the infrastructure, right? So that one, people already build some templates using cloud formation and keep it ready. As soon as you click on this start lab, it is basically using some cloud formation templates, and it is spinning off required servers in the backend, EC2, whatever, all the nodes and clusters and everything. It is basically making it automated way of doing things for you and keep it ready. The same thing when you need to do in your real world, right? If you need to build your applications or processing like this, you also should be able to create your own architecture and create like a template using cloud formation and keep it as a one template. So whenever you need to do, you don't need to, you design it once and you could always you could bring it down, or you can scrap everything and you can recreate again within few minutes like that. You can use that. Okay, that's what a lot of people do as part of architecture. No, you don't need to worry too much for that, but I would suggest to explore that later on. Since you have unlimited access for the labs and all, later on you can try something for cloud formation exercise also, but that's not mandatory for this learning. Okay, so but yeah, go through this and let me know if any issues, but I don't see any problem here. Actually, they're already started using Redshift, which is okay because the destination is Redshift here. They're putting the data into Redshift, some data. They also have S3 buckets, master Redshift database, DB. Yeah, interesting stuff is happening here in this one. Yeah, critical history. So this is where they're showing the Kinesis agent configuration. CloudWatch predicts true consumption point. File pattern, temp, plug, stream, my stream, partition, random. Yeah, so it's a simple configuration done here. Yeah. Yeah, they're all JSON files. The configuration agents are JSON files. You monitor that with Amazon CloudWatch, and then stuff is really some of these agent configuration, and that's what you're doing here. That's all. I mean, you don't see any complexity. It's all like a very small, simple configuration scripts that you will be using as part of this setup that will do the work. That's the advantage of all these tools. So basically, the delivery stream is putting the data into S3, and then it is putting the copying the data into Redshift cluster.
Hello, Keshav garu.
Hello, Kishore.
Yeah, ఇది యాక్చువల్గా ద క్లౌడ్ ఫార్మేషన్ ద ఫస్ట్ దాంట్లో ద క్లౌడ్ ఫార్మేషన్ ఇస్ టేకింగ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ అండి. ఆల్మోస్ట్ 15 minutes అయింది, స్టిల్ ఇట్స్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్. ఐ డోంట్ నో.
It is basically, yeah, that is what will spin off the environment for you. It's taking 15 minutes, really? That
Yeah,
much?
I'm almost at the end. My time is also అయిపోతుంది అక్కడ చివరిలో ఉంది. ఇది ఇంకా స్టిల్ ఇట్ ఇస్ క్రియేటింగ్.
Really? Should not take that long. మీ నెట్వర్క్ అది బాగానే ఉందా, చూసారు ఒకసారి?
యా, అంత బాగానే ఉందండి. I'm not sure. So is it only for me or for others? It's okay.
I don't think it will take that long though. Second.
సెటప్ అండి, లేకపోతే మధ్యలో స్ట్రీమ్
మధ్యలో ఇది క్లౌడ్ ఫార్మేషన్ ఉంది కదా.
యా, అది కొద్దిగా టైం పట్టింది కానీ అయిపోయిందండి అది బాగానే.
నాకు తెలిసి మీకు నెట్వర్క్ కూడా ప్రాబ్లం ఉండొచ్చండి మీది. అంత టైం పట్టకూడదు యాక్చువల్గా. జనరల్గా కొంచెం ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ సమ్ టైమ్, బట్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ దట్ బ్యాడ్. ఆల్మోస్ట్ యూ స్టార్టెడ్ లైక్ 15 minutes or 30 minutes?
ఆల్మోస్ట్ అయిపోయింది టైం నాది. 30 minutes అయిపోయింది. సో మళ్ళీ స్టార్టింగ్ నుంచి.
But anyway, this is a free exercise, so you should be able to start again, but you will lose the time, but that's the thing. Check the internet speed on ఒకసారి మీది, by any chance, if if more things happening, maybe that could be reason also. అది మీరు చెప్పేది ఫస్ట్ ఎక్సర్సైజ్ లో కదా? ఒక్కొక్కసారి మీరు యూఆర్ వెయిటింగ్ ఫర్ ద స్టేటస్ కదా, క్రియేట్ కంప్లీట్. సో కీప్ రిఫ్రెషింగ్ every few minutes, okay? Don't just look at that and say it's not completed. ఎందుకంటే వాడు క్లియర్గా ఇచ్చాడు ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ కూడా, చూసారు లేదు మీరు? ఓకే, సో because it will not refresh automatically, so you have to keep refreshing the page so to see the status. Which region you are using, remember? East or that could also make difference. See, when you started, you could have noted down, right, this region, what region you are started.
నోట్ చేయలేదని చూస్తాను.
ఓకే, ఎందుకంటే generally in general, remember, the US East, there are multiple actually. In the US East, it will be the fastest generally, because we are all on East Coast, data center, right? So compared to West Coast or other things, especially, I mean, sometimes you can always switch, even if it is coming to by default, it will give some region, but you can always change it to US East or as you need. Okay, but generally it defines based on availability. It's all like rotation, right? So that could be one reason. Like suppose if it is connecting to US West or some other Asia Pacific, depends on when you pick up that, if it picks up from a node that is in a different region, then your it could be slow.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? He clearly mentioned that also. This hands-on lab used to be completed in only northwestern East region.
Yes, yes. Okay.
So by any chance, when he started, if it was created in some other region, you should make sure it is in US East region. Otherwise, because this is already known, like it will take some time to do that cloud formation.
Okay.
So it's explicitly asked. Yeah, that could be a reason for sure. So when you launched, right, it could have picked up something and it goes forever.
Okay.
Forever means, I mean, it take a long time, but if you make sure if it is in the east region, it will be much faster. That's why they clearly mentioned that.
Kashogger.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, like, can you just scroll down to 58 step one? CloudWatch. In the
58.
first, yeah, in the first
The
one.
first one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
58. Monitoring the logs.
Yeah, using cloud
Okay. Monitor a delivery stream with Amazon
delivery.
CloudWatch. Okay. So what is
Uh,
here?
I cannot find the Firehouse in navigation pane in my CloudWatch.
When you go to CloudWatch,
Okay.
you don't see in the navigation pane. The
Yeah,
navigation pane is nothing but on the left hand.
yeah, left side. I can see CloudWatch, dashboards, alarms, billing, events, rules, logs, and metrics, but not the.
No, okay, can you share your screen? Let me.
Yeah, sure. And one second. So, Keshav గారు కనబడుతుందండి?
Yeah. So where did you click on? Okay, can you go back? You are going from the services, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Services and go to
CloudWatch.
CloudWatch. Okay.
I cannot find.
On the navigation pane, you don't see rules.
So,
Oh, no,
yeah,
no.
Firehouse.
Wait,
Firehouse.
1 second. You have to see Firehose. No,
I can
on CloudWatch you don't need to see that actually. Go to
inside the logs. It is like Kinesis Firehouse. Is that the one?
no, go back to that instructions once. What it says.
Okay. On the services menu, click CloudWatch. Then the navigation pane.
So monitor and delivery is one, right? So in this section, you will monitor how firewalls captures and delivers the data that was sent from ICT instance. This will be done through the Amazon CloudWatch service. On the services menu, click CloudWatch in the navigation pane. Firehose. Should be visible if you scroll down. Okay, so I think click on the matrix maybe.
Okay.
First on the go to matrix.
Yeah.
Okay. So here all metrics are here, right?
Yeah.
You can see
Firehouse.
yeah, go to Kinesis agent. I mean, yeah, here basically you'll see Firehose metrics on the right side.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So basically, it is producing all metrics into this. Like you are seeing various metrics here.
Firehouse metrics. Yeah, ఇక్కడ వచ్చింది.
Yeah. I mean, instruction is not very clear, but that's what it is.
So we need to. Okay. Now.
On the
Yeah.
graph, you will be seeing.
Yeah, the change.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But again, you always see on the top right, you have choices for 1
Yeah,
hour,
1
2 hour.
hour.
Yeah. So you have to custom do for 5 minutes. You will see more because you haven't used that much, right?
Yeah.
Custom. Go to custom. Yeah. Make it 5 minutes. You'll see better. Maybe 5 minutes, not even 15 minutes, right? Because
5 minutes I cannot.
yeah,
1 hour is okay.
1 hour you got something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it depends on like duration, like in the logs, how much logs it produce.
Yeah.
The behind the scene, it is producing the log, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually in the real scenario, you
ఇక్కడ
remember.
అవుతుందండి యాక్చువల్లీ ఇది
Yeah.
I cannot share the 10 now. So one
Yeah.
second.
In the real scenario, it will be continuously streaming, basically.
Yeah, terminal is continuously.
Streaming. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is basically your Firehose is processing it.
Yeah, it's running after
Firehose
time
is
and all.
processing it and sending it to Redshift at the end. I mean, it's sending it to S3 bucket and then sending it to Redshift. So the way you're checking is, you won't see that much in the Firehose also, because it's keep on moving it to S3 and sorry, from S3 to Redshift. So whatever this is being generated, it is finally getting stored into Redshift. That's
Yeah,
why they give you some queries, right? On the queries to run the queries.
yeah, click on the query.
Yeah, if you click on the queries, you'll see the metrics, like how many it is loaded. Yeah, it's basically continuously streaming.
Yeah, it's saying. Let's move to the Redshift.
Hello?
Yeah, these are like simulators, okay? Whatever it's happening, in the real scenarios, you will get the stream data already. You don't need to simulate. But here we are simulating.
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, somebody.
అనే బాలు
Balu, tell me.
అది గ్రాఫ్ టైం సెట్ చేయడానికి 5 minutes ఇది 1 hour 3 hours అలా ఉంటుంది
గట్టిగా మాట్లాడమా, ఎవరికి వినపట్లేదు.
అది గ్రాఫ్ లో 1 hour 3 hours అలా ఉంది కదా, దాన్ని కస్టమైజ్ 5 minutes
5 minutes. No, అది స్పాన్ ఆఫ్ ది గ్రాఫ్ స్పాన్.
1 hour పెడితే కనబడుతుంది.
యా, 1 hour పెడితే కనబడుతుంది.
నాకు 5 minutes పెడితే కనిపించింది. 1 hour పెడితే 1 hour పెడితే ఎక్కడో కింద ఎక్కడో వస్తుంది.
అంటే depends on how the log simulation happening. See, if the log simulation, whatever is being produced, right? Basically, your configuration is why I said 5 minutes is better, because at least in 5 minutes, whatever is collecting, it can show it in a graph saying, okay, this much is collected in 5 minutes.
లాగ్ చూస్తే లాగ్ లో మాక్సిమం రిసోర్స్ నాట్ ఫౌండ్ అనే ఎర్రర్స్ ఎక్కువ వస్తుంది. జనరల్గా అది మనకి సంబంధం లేదన్నమాట.
రిసోర్స్ నాట్ ఫౌండ్ అన్న
అవి అంటే దీంతో పాటు ఇవి కూడా ఎక్కువ వస్తున్నాయి అన్నమాట ఎర్రర్.
ఓకే, ఎర్రర్ వస్తుందంటావా?
రిసీస్ ఏజెంట్ లాగ్ ఉంది కదా, దాంట్లో ఎర్రర్ ప్రింట్ అవుతున్నాయి అన్నమాట. అమెజాన్ కిన్సీ స్ట్రీమింగ్ ఏజెంట్ ఎర్రర్.
యా, అంటే ఒకటి ఏంటంటే, ఇప్పుడు ఈ ల్యాబ్ పర్పస్ కి వాడు ఇచ్చింది కొన్ని, వాడు చెప్పాడు కదా మీకు, నాట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ అవైలబుల్. బట్ వాడు ఆ ఏజెంట్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసింది ఇట్ హ్యాస్ ఓన్లీ లిమిటెడ్ పర్పస్ మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఈ ల్యాబ్ పర్పస్కి. సో ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ సీయింగ్ ఎర్రర్ చెప్తాడు ఇక్కడ
some resource not found, request ID, some ID. It's not a relationship. I think this is also part of matrix.
Yeah. Can you share your screen? Let me see. What is that?
Even his screen also.
What is the error actually? Is it saying something specific or? So how is your connection speed there? Is it better or?
It's fine. Screen అయిందా షేర్ కనిపిస్తుంది?
No, ఇంకా కనిపించట్లేదు.
నేను అది పేస్ట్ చేస్తాను చాట్లో.
Maybe some lagging on the network speed.
షేర్ చేయాలి. ఇప్పుడు వచ్చింది.
Yeah, now I can see.
హైలైట్ చేశాను.
Okay. So resource not found exception.
యా యాక్చువల్లీ మధ్య మధ్యలో అది వస్తుంది, లైక్ ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది, ఒక్కొక్కటి సక్సెస్ అవుతుంది.
నో అదే వాడికి ద రీజన్ వాడు చెప్పాడు కదా నీకు. ఇఫ్ యు సీ ఇన్ ద ల్యాబ్ క్లియర్లీ మెన్షన్ దట్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ లో వన్ థింగ్ దట్ వాజ్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఇస్ where is that? I somewhere. It says clearly that the agent is configured. Where is that agent configuration? One second.
ఒక్కొక్కటి అవుతుంది, మధ్య మధ్యలో కపుల్ ఆఫ్ ఫెయిల్ అవుతున్నాయి, ఒకటి సక్సెస్ అవుతుంది.
Yeah. So what he says is ఇది పెట్టారు కదా ఈ కమాండ్. యూ షుడ్ రిపీట్ ది స్టెప్ మల్టిపుల్ టైమ్స్, అట్లీస్ట్ 10 times to add more rows to the log file. To repeat the previous command, Kinesis agent is installed and configured to listen to this log file. When new rows are added to the log file, they are collected by Kinesis agent and send it to batches to the Kinesis Firehouse endpoint. Data can take up to 15 minutes to appear in Redshift database. While you wait, please follow the next steps in where I saw it will is configured the log file shows the Yeah, I mean, whenever it doesn't find, like you are basically simulating, right? The data the log files. So if it doesn't find, it says no records found, basically. You're continuously, because it's a manual thing you're doing. Depends on how many number of times you enter that command, repeat. So So it enters that much log. Otherwise, agent will be keep on looking, but there is nothing to fetch. So that's why you'll see exceptions. Also the graphs, right? Sometimes you may need to adjust the panels to see the graphs properly. That's what other thing is. You need to keep refreshing also. So yeah, if you're done with this, continue with the other one also. So that will be also interesting actually, the IoT one. In fact, that will control the temperature and other things. So that will be more interesting actually.
హలో
Yeah.
అందులో 65 స్టెప్
Which one? The first one, huh?
ఫస్ట్ వన్
P5.
65 60 yes.
Okay. Click the queries tab to view the calls. Yeah, this is the final thing. Once the data moved to Redshift database, you have
దాంట్లో నో రికార్డ్స్ ఫామ్
so you went to Redshift, right, on the service menu. Okay, and that you click the clusters. It could have multiple clusters, right? So
only one.
Yeah, I think you created only one here. So you click on that. There is a tab. Multiple tabs will be there.
Click on that queries and replace
Query tab.
no records found.
No, there is a tab for
Queries.
that's you're already on that, or switch to loads. Switch to loads maybe, and then come back to queries. No, nothing. Filter last 24 hours.
Nothing.
Oh, you know what? See if you have different clusters on the top. Select.
Only one. Only one.
Don't have other clusters.
It's healthy, available.
Should give you some queries readily. Did you miss any steps in between, or there should be some queries here? Okay, maybe it's taking time also. That's for the data.
Actually, in this we have we have printed some information into app.log file.
That you did that right already?
Yes, 10 times.
Yeah. So at least 10 times. Yeah, that's good. Then
This is
resume
the
configuration is collecting, and
This is
then
viewing the logs.
yeah. So you already see that on the
Logs are already
log you're able to see. That
able to
means
see these are moving.
the data movement from S3, I mean S3 to Redshift didn't happen. File streams. But at least the query should be there though. Go up again. Click clusters. Click the name of cluster to open in detail balance. Should be only one cluster space. Click the queries tab to view the calls. Content copies. It is from. So that means no queries ran at.
అందులో ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ కూడా క్వరీ రన్ చేయమని కూడా లేదు. సో వేరే ఎవరికైనా వచ్చిందా?
Yeah, let's see. There is a. Can you confirm if you are able to get that or no?
Yeah, వచ్చినాయి like 63 నుంచి 75 అలా వచ్చినాయి. So numbering starting from 63 to 75.
So when you go to Redshift, you see that that queries happen.
Yeah, after following the steps he had given, like going from the clusters
Right.
to the.
Yeah, that means did the queries, right? Whatever the queries ran, it's showing there.
Yeah.
క్వరీ ఎక్కడ రన్ చేశారు? క్వరీ ఎక్కడ రన్ చేశారు?
రన్ చేయడం అంటే అదే టెర్మినల్ మీ కమాండ్ ప్రాంప్ట్ లో అదే పుట్టిలో చేస్తారండి.
పుట్టిలో ఓన్లీ ఇకో కదా, ఇకో కమాండ్.
యా అదేను మన 10 టైమ్స్ రిపీట్ చేశారు కదా.
అది జస్ట్ మనం ఇకోలో ఇచ్చింది యాప్ డాట్ లాగ్ లో ప్రింట్ చేయడానికి.
యా అదేనండి.
అప్పుడు ఏమైనా ట్రిగ్గర్ ఫైర్ అవుతుంది.
So
ఒకసారి మీ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయగలరా? అది క్వరీస్
అది ఎండ్ చేసేసానండి, అయిపోయింది టైం.
సెకండ్ ల్యాబ్ లో ఉన్నారా? సరే సరే.
కాదు, ఒకటి క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే ద క్వైరీస్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తున్నాయనే కదా నీ క్వశ్చన్. ఎలా వస్తున్నాయంటే బేసికలీ దోస్ ఆర్ ద వాట్ ఎవర్ ఈస్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్ అగైన్స్ట్ ద రెడ్షిఫ్ట్ క్లస్టర్. బేసికలీ నువ్వు క్వైరీస్
యాక్చువల్లీ మనం రాసాం కదా సిటీస్
డెలివరీ స్ట్రీమ్ లోడ్ చేసింది కదా. డెలివరీ స్ట్రీమ్ లోడింగ్ ద డేటా ఇంటూ క్లస్టర్ కదా. సో నువ్వు నీ క్వైరీస్ ఏముంటాయంటే ఇక్కడ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఈజ్ ఇట్స్ బేసికలీ కాపీయింగ్ సిటీస్ ఫ్రమ్ ద సీక్వెల్ కాలం కదా.
సెలెక్ట్ సిటీస్ అని అలా వస్తున్నాయి
ఆ కమాండ్లు. దోస్ ఆర్ ద క్వైరీస్ రన్ బై డెలివరీ స్ట్రీమ్ లోడింగ్. డెలివరీ స్ట్రీమ్ ఏంటి, ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేస్తుంది కదా, ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ చేసి డేటాని లోడ్ చేస్తుంది కదా. సో వాట్ ఎవర్ డెలివరీ స్ట్రీమ్ డిడ్ the queries to copy the cities from that SQL columns.
Agent is saying view the agent.
Yeah, I mean whatever happened in the back end, it should display that list of queries that were executed. So Redshift ki to push the data into Redshift cluster, it executed some queries behind the scene. So those are the queries it will show.
Kishore here. ఈ 50 I got stuck on 59th step అండి. నాకు 59
అండి. So yeah, the same question actually what there is asked earlier. So when you go to CloudWatch, you don't see Firehose on the navigation pane, but you click on the matrix on the left side.
Metrics, okay.
So on the right side, you see various metrics you will be seeing. Firehose metrics and delivery stream metrics like that.
కెనసిస్ అని మెయిన్ దాంట్లో కెనసిస్ అని అలా ఉన్నాయండి కిందకి వెళ్ళే కొద్దీ సో యూ కెన్ ఫైండ్ ఫైర్ హౌస్.
You will have multiple there.
Oh, okay. Like I see 274 metrics something.
Yeah, if you go down, like you will have various metrics into that, split into multiple.
Right.
Yeah. So
EBS,
basically,
EC2,
in each of that, if you are clicking, it will show it in the graphs. So
Oh, got
sometimes
it.
you have to adjust those panels. It may not be showing clearly.
Okay.
So you have to adjust the panels and also adjust the timings also. Like sometimes 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Based on that, it depends on your data. It may or may not fit into that graph always.
Oh, okay.
So if you play with that, you will see somewhere.
Okay.
I mean, if the data ran, like there are two ways you can see that, right? On the terminal also, on the putty, wherever you are running this,
Yeah.
there also you can see the log being generated. That log being pushed into the S3,
Okay.
right? So the CloudWatch basically is checking what is coming into the S3,
Okay.
and then that is being pushed also into Redshift.
Okay.
So there is a trigger for that. The trigger is basically running some queries to push that into Redshift. So whatever that queries it ran, those queries will be shown at the end on the Redshift. Yeah, this is to basically to see how it's working. Basically, this part on the 59 and pretty much up to 61, I believe. Even other steps also. These are all to see what happened, for you to visualize what happened there. Are you able to see the queries, or sure you also have the same problem?
I'm checking under here.
Yeah, go to your service menu and see Redshift and the navigation pane.
Okay. RC clusters. Okay. I can see one cluster.
Yeah, you select that cluster, whatever I think it's only one cluster. On the right side, you will see some tabs, configuration, queries, and things like that. Click on the queries tab.
Queries. Click the queries. The name of the cluster, it should be cluster dashboard. Click queries tab to view the paths.
You don't see the tab?
And,
ఒకసారి మీరు ప్రజెంట్ చేయండి ఒకసారి మీరు.
మ్యాగ్నిఫైయింగ్ మిర్రర్ కిషోర్ గారు మ్యాగ్నిఫైయింగ్ మిర్రర్ ఉందండి స్విచ్ కాలం
ఒకసారి షేర్ చేయండి.
ఉంది.
యా,
ఓకే షేర్ చేస్తున్నాను.
okay.
Can you see my screen?
So
మ్యాగ్నిఫైయింగ్ మిర్రర్ మీద క్లిక్ చేయండి.
yeah, click on that cluster. Yeah,
యూ కెన్ ఫైండ్.
now go to right side, you see the tabs: configuration, status, performance, queries.
Queries.
Click on queries. Here you should see your queries. Yeah, those are all the things it ran. So I think Balu, if you didn't get this one, these are, if you see, these are all the sequels ran behind the scene. So maybe you have to repeat something. Basically, this is where if you see copy, analyze, compression, these are all the commands happen to put the data into Redshift. Yeah, try to continue the next lab also if possible. I mean, if it is too late, maybe try tomorrow. Tomorrow also, let's do one thing. I mean, tomorrow mostly there will be less of presentation actually, because I'm just going to talk about only a little bit of Redshift, and then we will do one more good exercise for the Redshift alone. So if you're able to complete, it's fine. Otherwise, this one and the both you should continue tomorrow as well.
కేశవ్ గారు మనం ఈ ఎక్సర్సైజ్లో ఓకే మన ఈసీ టూలో మనం ఓకే మనం జస్ట్ ఫైల్లో మనం సమ్ ఐ మీన్ సమ్ డేటా మనం క్యాప్చర్ చేసాము ఐ మీన్ ద సేమ్ డేటా లైక్ 10 times 15 times సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్ సో అంటే మనం ఈ స్ట్రీమింగ్ అంటే లైక్ దిస్ ఈజ్ అంటే I'm just trying to understand.
We're simulating, Andy. What we're doing really, see, in real scenario, you will have a data coming streaming from application.
Yeah.
Right? So because you don't have a streaming data coming for you, you are simulating some streaming.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Because when we do exercise, right, obviously we have to have some mechanism to stream or get something similar simulation.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, the actual scenario, if you just configure to your app, like you will be basically you will be keep getting the data. Let's say you're pointing to some location, right? So you don't need to look for data. Data will be keep on coming already into that location.
Right. Okay. And also, what's the use of this roles entende IAM role?
That is mostly like a authentication type of thing. IAM is like basically your identity access management.
Okay.
Which is basically called, you know how we maintain our authorization and authentication, right?
Yeah.
So it's all controlled through IAM security. Basically, it's all about security. How you maintain your users, groups, roles, and all that.
Okay.
So IAM is one of the service from AWS. So
Okay.
for any application, when you build your own infrastructure, right now you don't really do that much of IAM things because labs are set up for you readily, right?
Right.
But when you build your own environment, you create, you build some Linux server on a cluster, whatever all that you do, you have to make sure your IAM setup also done, security.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how, and then you'll have specific roles only can access this server, that server, all that. So yeah, that is all like again regular infrastructure type of admin activities. But it's not that difficult actually. You could actually practice using some of the labs dedicated for them also. But that's not just meant for only big data. Any application you build, even if you build some web application on AWS, so it is required.
Okay.
Yeah, most probably, if you want to continue, maybe continue this the other one if you have some time now. But if you need to go early morning or something, then you can continue tomorrow also, not a problem, because tomorrow mostly we'll spend time on exercise labs only. This one and the Redshift lab also will start tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, if you have any free time and during the daytime, also try to finish it. Whoever have time, just try to make sure get it done. That way, if you do it right, so advantage is you get more questions, and so you might think of something else. So which we can use for the session, our time for discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right then. Yeah. Good night, Annie. Yeah.
Good night. Yeah.
Yeah.